Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today we're really setting the stage for a deeply personal, almost psychological journey. We're going to map out the fascinating terrain of a very specific astrological placement, and that is Rahu in the 8th house. Now, if you have this placement yourself, or if you're just kind of fascinated by the mechanics of human transformation, well, you are absolutely in the right place. We're going to unpack exactly what happens when the planet of insatiable hunger and illusion sets up shop in the house of transformation, secrets, and the profound unknown.
Okay, let's dive into this. Why are you drawn to life's deepest secrets? You know, if you've got this placement, you already know your reality feels fundamentally different from the people around you. You don't just passively exist, right? You're constantly probing the edges of what's known. It's like you've got this built-in radar for the hidden dimensions of life. But how exactly does this play out over a lifetime? Well, let's break it down step by step.
So, our journey begins with Phase 1, the call of the unknown. Before any external drama even kicks off, there's this internal wiring we have to understand. Your mind just works differently. You're tuned into frequencies most people are, well, completely deaf to. We're talking psychology, hidden truths, spirituality, secrets, transformation, and just the vast unknown in general. And look, these aren't just passing hobbies, they're your baseline. While everyone else is perfectly content skimming the surface, maybe stressing over what to have for lunch, you're the one digging in the dirt, absolutely needing to understand the root system of existence itself. You're constantly weighing surface explanations against hidden causes. You naturally spot what others deliberately avoid. You question those neat, tidy narratives people present, and instead, you're searching for the hidden motives behind their actions. Uncomfortable truths, emotional undercurrents. These things become completely visible to you long before anyone else in the room even senses them. You are just fascinated by what actually lies beneath appearances.
Let's move on and see how this builds, which brings us to Phase 2, the emotional crucible. We're shifting now from that internal curiosity to some really intense external experiences. Ordinary answers rarely satisfy you. This right here is your driving force. The mind's hunger for depth eventually draws the heart straight into the fire. You don't just want to read about transformation, you want to seek out experiences that actually change you to your core. Because you flat out reject the superficial, you're actively attracted to situations that fundamentally challenge your entire understanding of yourself, of others, and really the whole world around you.
And as a result of that incredible drive, you're going to experience some profound emotional extremes. We're talking periods of intense attachment, obsession, utter fascination, and total emotional immersion. And I want to be clear here, these aren't just glitches in the matrix. These actually become major recurring themes in your life. You don't just experience emotions, you literally submerge yourself in them entirely.
But here is the warning label for this placement. Because of that insatiable curiosity we just talked about, you're often going to struggle with boundaries when dealing with all that intense emotional gravity. Your deep desire to know the hidden truth can really easily lead you into situations that are vastly heavier, deeper, and honestly, far more complicated than you initially expected. The gravity of the 8th house is immensely strong, and it will forcefully pull you into deep, volatile waters before you even realize you've left the safety of the shore.
Now let's look at Phase 3, transformative relationships.
That heavy emotional gravity we just mentioned, it means you definitely don't go through these depths alone. The connections you attract are not your average casual acquaintances. They are fated, they're powerful, and they are life-changing. These specific relationships serve as really powerful catalysts for your own personal evolution. Whether these connections last a lifetime or burn out quickly, they alter your internal landscape forever, leaving a lasting psychological and emotional impact. Basically, they force you to face the very depths you've been so curious about.
Which naturally brings us to Phase 4, crisis and surrender.
Facing those depths introduces some massive, overarching life lessons about the terrifying but totally necessary loss of certainty. You're going to learn some very difficult lessons about control and surrender. It's a cycle. First, you try to maintain control. Then life inevitably introduces a crisis that completely shatters that control, making transformation absolutely unavoidable. You're entirely stripped of your certainty and forced into surrender. But here's the magic. It is only through that profound surrender that you actually reach the final step, which is true, lasting insight.
And hey, if you happen to be in the middle of that crisis phase right now, please hear this. Experiences that initially feel entirely overwhelming are not there to break you. They actually become the very source of your greatest wisdom and self-understanding. You literally develop your most powerful insight right through crisis and change. The intense pressure of the 8th house is exactly what creates the diamond of your self-awareness. And that brings us finally to Phase 5, Mastering the Depths. We have officially arrived at the ultimate, culminating lesson.
And this brilliantly illustrates what all that curiosity, the emotional extremes, the intense relationships, and the crises have been preparing you for. You're going to discover that depth and overwhelm are not the same thing. Exploring depth means your curiosity is guided by awareness. Overwhelm, on the other hand, means falling into obsession and being completely consumed by the intensity. Your absolute greatest lesson in life is learning how to explore these emotional, psychological, and spiritual depths safely without letting the darkness just swallow you whole.
True growth comes when curiosity is guided by awareness rather than obsession. This right here is your compass. You don't ever have to stop being curious about the hidden truths of the world. In fact, you really shouldn't. But you absolutely must learn to navigate those depths with a conscious, grounded awareness rather than a frantic, boundaryless obsession.
So we've mapped out the evolutionary journey of this powerful placement, from the initial call of the unknown all the way to the mastery of your deepest self. So I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought to consider. How will you choose to navigate your own emotional depths going forward? Will you let the currents of obsession pull you under, or will you use your newfound awareness to confidently master the mysteries you were quite literally born to explore? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this helps you understand the incredible power hidden within your own shadows.